Allison Janney, you are having some kind of an amazing year, but I think I say that every year. You are on Broadway right now. We just saw the last few episodes of the season of Mom. You've been doing you did Samantha Bee recently. Tell us about your last few months.
It's been extraordinary, Chris. I always like to keep myself busy, but this year has been surpassed any year any previous year in terms of going from one thing to another. And I'm going to really need a vacation after this. I don't know how I'm going to get it. I actually consider going back to Mom a vacation because I love the work there. I know what it is. It's the most civilized schedule of any other kind of acting I've done, schedule-wise. And I'm going to unplug everything and just stare at a wall. I don't know. It's been extraordinary. And I didn't think everything that I just said yes to was going to happen at the same time. But sometimes you have a project that you've been wanting to do for years, and all of a sudden the financing falls into place, and it's in between while I'm doing Mom and while I'm doing something else. And I was working on, my friend Stephen Rogers wrote a movie about Tanya Harding, and I got to do that. So I was doing Mom, and then flying on my hiatuses to Atlanta to do that, and then flying to New York to start rehearsals for 6 Degrees of Separation, and then had very much wanted to be part of Samantha Bee's Not the White House Correspondents' Dinner, and they wrote that great opening for me. I was like, how could I not do that? I have to do that. And that was squeezed in, and everything's been squeezed in, and it's been extraordinary. And the Broadway schedule, I forgot about how difficult that was. I think it's been so long since I've been back on the stage. I thought, that'll be a vacation for me to be in New York and be on Broadway, and I'll have a lot of fun. And while it's fun, it's exhausting. So, but I think I'm a bit of a workaholic, Chris. I think I really like to work. So I did it to myself. I'm having a great time, but I definitely will need a vacation at some point.
Well, and it's all diverse too. So it's not like when you go from project to project, it's a whole new you.
Exactly. All these parts are completely different and a lot of fun. So I feel very grateful for this year.
Well, let's talk about television first on Mom. Well, first of all, your team, and I guess Warner Brothers, you're going to not be on the ballot in a couple of weeks for supporting this year, where you've been nominated and won for Mom. You're going to be in the lead actress race. What went into that decision?
Well, Anna was the first person to suggest it to me a couple years ago, and I just didn't think about it. We talked about it, and as the show has progressed, Anna and I have definitely been the focus of the show. It's been about the two of us and our journey, and definitely with all these other wonderful women. And my team brought it up to me again this past year and said, and it was also something I had done during West Wing. The producers had come to me and wanted me to move to a different category to open up other actors to be nominated and supporting. And I said, fine, I'll do whatever, and then it seemed to make sense for this show too, because we have so many great women on Mom who could be up for supporting supporting role nominations, and I just made sense. And I thought, sure, I'll do it. Whatever, let's try it. So it's definitely not an easier category. No category is easy, but just threw my hat in the ring.
Well, it's as you probably know from watching television, this past season is so great for women on television. And there are several situations, not just in your category with you and Anna, but ladies on the same show, like Jessica Lange and Susan Sarandon are both lead for Feud, and Nicole Kidman and Reese Witherspoon are both lead for Big Little Lies. So what do you think about that I think just the opportunities for women just keep getting better and better.
They do. I agree. I watched that. Big Little Lies is so brilliant. I'm really excited about that. And Feud was one. Oh my God, Jessica and Susan, that last episode just broke my heart. It was so beautiful. They're both. I don't know how awards work. Everyone should get one. It's just. I don't know how anyone voting in this is going to decide on how to give. I think they should just. I don't know what to say. It's definitely a great time for women, and television is.
Well, maybe they should allow teams like you and Anna. You know, last year, as an exception, when Amy Poehler and Tina Fey hosted SNL, they allowed them to compete as a team. Guest actress, and they won. So why couldn't Jessica and Susan or you and Anna or something?
I know, best comedy team, best comedy. Why not? They should put up some more categories. So that's a very good idea, Chris. I honestly, awards are always kind of strange. How do you compare apples and oranges? Different women, I don't know what to say. I think I don't know what to say. I'm speechless about the whole thing. There's so many brilliant performances, and I don't know how you decide who, because it seems like you're saying someone's better than someone else, but I don't know. I guess it's a combination of things about what the role, what the episode was about, what the role says, what it speaks to, who it speaks to, in terms of what's going on in the world right now. There's so many different things that come into play when someone gets an award for something. But then you didn't ask me to explain that. I sometimes just go off on these tangents, Chris.
That's why I like talking to you every summer. I know I'm going to get good quotes from you. Well, speaking of this category, you and Julia Louis-Dreyfus are good buddies. I remember when you both won a couple of years ago. You were back in the press room together doing your Q&A.
I made her come with me.
What I love about this, maybe we have our own little mini feud here, even though you're friends. You've each got 7 performing Emmys, which is
she'll win. She'll win 8. Everybody knows it. Let's just congratulate her on it.
I don't know. We've never seen you up against each other, so
yeah, she'll win. It's fine. She deserves it. She's brilliant and funny. That show is brilliant. She works so hard on it. She writes on it. She produces. She just does everything. She deserves to win. I'm Julia Louis-Dreyfus.
Let's not do a campaign for her today. She joins us every summer too for a chat, but that's not today. That's you today. Let's just assume for a moment you do win. That'd be number 8, and you'd be tied with Cloris Leachman for first place. What would that mean to you?
It's an extraordinary honor. An Emmy, getting an Emmy and getting 8 to get 8 Emmys is an extraordinary achievement. It would be an amazing thing. I would be over the moon, proud and embarrassed and happy and excited, and it's just everything. It's an extraordinary thing to win an Emmy, and I've been lucky enough to win as many as I have in my career, and everyone is an amazing accomplishment, and it would be extraordinary. I don't expect it. I don't, and if I don't, it's fine. I don't know. Those things are. It's oh my God. They're amazing things. It's an amazing honor, and if I got lucky enough to win 8, I don't know what I would do. I honestly don't know. Let's see what happens.
Something special that night on your speech, though.
Yeah, something very special.
And I know you are a big TV history, you watch TV all your life. You're currently tied. We've talked about these before, but I want to bring it up this year in a different kind of context. You're tied with Julia. You're tied with Ed Asner, who's been on your show. But you're tied with Mary Tyler Moore, who passed away a few months.
I cannot believe that.
What did she mean to you and other actresses in this industry?
She was for watching her in the Mary Tyler Moore show. It was the first time I saw a woman on her own, choosing to be on her own, going out and living her life, having divorced and going out. Wasn't Mary divorced? Didn't she? Wasn't Mary Richards divorced?
I think that was what was written in the pilot script, but they forced James Brooks and Ellen Burns to make her split from a long relationship. In the early 70s, they couldn't do the other.
She just was my hero. I fell in love with Mary, as so many women did, with what her braveness, her courage to go out and go to a city she didn't know and get a job, and woman in a man's world, for heck's sake. She enters that newsroom and all these men, and I felt very much when I got the role of CJ that I was kind of the Mary Richards in that world, and she's just been a hero of mine in the world of comedy, and her kind of comedy, which I think was the kind that I love, that comes from behavior and character, and not just who she was as a woman. And Mary, I just loved Mary. She reminded me of my mother. I want to be like Mary Richards. she inspired me in so many ways. And then I go to her extraordinary performance in Ordinary People, and that spoke to me. I just have always identified with her. She's the fact that I am tied with her with as many Emmys is an extraordinary thing. I cannot believe that did she win all of hers for? What did she win all of hers for? Do you know, Chris?
Well, yeah, when I say 7 for all of you, that's just performing. Like Julia's got 9, but 7 are performance. Mary, in that decade of, really up until the late 80s, 90s, and now, she would have been a producer on her show had it been a different time, and that means she would have won a whole bunch of series awards, producing awards, which she didn't have the opportunity to do.
My gosh, I forgot. So Julia she has producing Emmys for Veep.
Mm-hmm.
So she's already got.
She got more than you anyway. Just she needs to
anyway.
Let you have an 8. That won't hurt anything.
She should take herself out of the race just so I can make the.
There have been a couple of people over time that just kind of, like you might mention a moment ago, got kind of embarrassed. Like I don't know if I want to go up there again. Candice Bergen did that for Murphy Brown. She won 5, and then she just said, it's time for somebody else. So it's happened.
It does get, you feel at a certain point, people love to hate you for winning too. So there's always a lot of shame that comes along with winning. There's some great things and bad. I always find it's always evenly weighed in with good and bad. Winning things can be great. It also can be really hard. But it's like an actor when you get a job. The best part is hearing you got the job, and then you got to do it, and then you got to, oh my God, hearing you get nominated for an Emmy is an extraordinary moment. Going through for some actors, I don't know. I get stressed out about going down a red carpet and being asked questions because I freeze up when I and asked the easiest questions. I go, oh my God. It's really nerve-wracking, the whole thing, and hair and makeup, and it's a lot. And then winning, going up there, I've had so many moments just being terrified to when you hear your name and it's the most exciting thing, and it's like, oh my God, and it's I've had some good speeches, I've had some bad speeches, I've had some it's an extraordinary thing to happen, and I've always felt more comfortable with the words of someone else in my mouth than my own. Writing is not I'm not really confident at writing speeches, so I never usually have something completely written out, but I have an idea of what I would say if I had to go up, and then you get up there and some stuff manages to get out, some others doesn't, and you go backstage and realize, oh, I forgot to thank my mom, whoever. And It's a roller coaster ride. It's an amazing ride.
I can only imagine. Well, I'm hearing through the grapevine that if you get nominated this time, the episode you're thinking about submitting is the one where you find out your mother, who never wanted you, has died. And I watched that again last night. It's so, just like all of your episodes, they're so funny, but also emotional. Can you just talk about getting that script and what that one meant to you?
Well, I wish I could have watched it again. I haven't watched it since I did it, and I don't even remember when we filmed it, but I remember having to do the scene at the grave, and it was what I love about the episode and about our writers on Mom is that they allow these characters to be multidimensional and have all feelings and go through things that aren't necessarily funny. And yet I remember doing that scene at the grave and laughing at certain moments and just having it be real and heartbreaking for Bonnie, because I think that's what makes people love these characters, the fact that they are real women going through all of the things that happens to women, and these women are in recovery and life keeps happening. You can't, just because you get control of your addictions, and doesn't mean that life is going to be kinder to you or any easier or go easier on you. And I love that in this show we deal with really huge issues, like death and cancer and sexual abuse and I can't, every topic that we do on the show is important and affects people, and doing that heartbreaking scene was a great moment for my character, for Bonnie, to forgive her mother and be able to get on with her life. Forgiveness is a huge thing for everybody to have to deal with, and it doesn't come easy. And then I just remember the ending, being in that bed and having Anna stand over me and read her dead letter, mother to me, and then me coming out of the grave to scare her. I mean, it was the perfect way to end that episode. I just remember laughing and loving how they do that. They'll go from some really sad, poignant moment to a really funny that just makes the laugh so much more enjoyable after seeing this heartbreaking scene and seeing Bonnie deal with forgiveness. It's a beautiful episode, and I can't remember though how it starts because I haven't seen it. But what was I?
It opens on you're all learning a country line dance or something, and you get the news while you're on your cell phone dancing. Yeah.
Or country line dancing. I go, yep, okay, thanks, yep. They're like, what? My mom died, and kickball changed $6. Like, of course, a perfect place to get the news that your mother died while you're line dancing country western. I'm just that setup is typical of our writers, to think of something think of the funniest place where you could get bad news. Why don't we make them do country line dancing? It's so fun. I love this show so much. I cannot wait to do season 5.
You had a bunch of wonderful guest stars this year, but I wanted to bring up 2 of them. One, okay, you kind of knew a little bit, Bradley Whitford.
Oh, Bradley, I love him. Oh my God, that was one of my favorite episodes too. That was hilarious. It was so much fun to have. And we've had Richard, Brad. I hope to have the whole gang. Trying to get Mary McCormick on there, and it would just be great to have everyone come through there. And then I did my homage to Martin Sheen. I think it was in this season where I did my jacket flip. Martin used to always go, what? He put on his jacket, flip it around, and I like to do that. It's fun to get.
Well, that wasn't just a presidential thing. I saw him on I watch a bunch of old shows, especially on the weekends. I think it might have been a Columbo or something, like in the 70s. And he does the back thing. I'm like, oh, okay, the coat thing. I'm like, oh, he was doing that. He's probably doing that when he's in high school.
Oh my God! You know what? You're probably right. He probably was. But I love attributing it to Jed Bartlett, and everyone who is a West Wing fanatic watches it. They all picked up on it. It was kind of fun to put in little gifts for people from park. Anyway, it's fun.
How much fun was Chris Pratt to have on?
Oh God, I wish I'd had more to do with him. I adore him. He is one of the sweetest, loveliest men, and it was great fun to have him on. Just a real morale boost for all of us. Just the audience just went crazy having him there, and we had one of our highest ratings for the show. So he did a lot for us coming onto the show. And he and Anna were so sweet together, and he's the best. He sends her the most beautiful flowers every Friday, every show taping. I go in to see what he sent her, and he's a lovely, lovely man, and happens to be really talented and really funny. We had a great time with him.
So becoming one of the biggest stars in the world has not changed him.
No, I mean, it's changed him, but he is still the same man. He's just a really sweet, truly funny, decent, wonderful man. And they're a great couple. Very, very envious of what they have. They have a great, beautiful son, and they're just perfect. Love them.
We've talked about CJ a little bit. Over the years, I think every time I've asked you a little bit about what would happen, how would a West Wing reunion come together. We have never had more shows that are coming back. Twin Peaks right now, X-Files, bringing back Will and Grace.
Great.
Is anybody reaching out at all saying, how could we do this?
I've been asked that question so many times this past year, and
we need you all back right now.
I know. I know the country does need another West Wing. The man who holds the keys to that situation is Aaron Sorkin. I don't know. Has anyone asked Aaron Sorkin? I don't know. Have you? I have not.
I've interviewed him, but it was years ago for Social Network, so it wasn't really, shows weren't doing that then, so I don't think it came up.
Yeah, my instinct is Aaron probably wouldn't want to revisit that. That he's probably one of those people that it's better to leave him wanting more than give him more and not be satisfied with. I don't know. Leave him wanting more. That's probably his motto. But I don't know. I haven't spoken to him, but I, of course, would love to fantasize about getting the band back together. But
what kind of tips do you think CJ could offer up to Sean Spicer?
Oh gosh.
I don't recall her hiding in any bushes, number one.
Pick the wrong man to be a spokesman for. I don't know. I can't imagine trying to do his job for this administration. I think it's probably the hardest job in that administration, to try to be the mouthpiece, to come out and deliver news to the press with the president's tweeting and all it's an impossible job. And I'm not saying he does a good job of it. I'm not a fan.
You feel for him a little bit, it sounds like.
I do. I feel for him a little bit, but God, I mean, he can keep going out there. I would have. If I had to be a spokesperson for Trump, I don't think if CJ had to be, I don't know. It truly is one of you've got to be a servant to two masters. You've got to be a friend of serve the president and the press and the people. And this administration is a huge battle between the press and the president, and there's a distrust there. So I don't know how it seems like he comes out and it's just a stand-up comedy routine. Not even that funny. Only the best thing about it is Melissa McCarthy. You know, her impersonation of him is.
Well, what did you think the first time you saw that?
I was just on the fly. Of course, I love Melissa. She's a friend of mine, and it was. My jaw was on the floor. It was it was so hilarious. When she picked up that press podium to use it as a battering ram, I was just like, I'm done. I mean, she's brilliant. So funny. She is the best thing that's come out of the Sean Spicer period.
One last question, and I forgot to ask you this when we were in the mom segment, but you, Chuck Lorre, Warner Brothers, we did a story on this a couple of weeks ago, took the money you normally would have done for an Emmy campaign, and it's going for a favorite charity of yours and theirs. Tell us more about that.
Yes, I wish I could say it was my idea, but it was Chuck's idea, and we all jumped on board saying, what a wonderful idea to donate this money, which is a really nice chunk of money that would have gone for a campaign for Emmys to Planned Parenthood. I think right now, with the House of Representatives voting to defund Planned Parenthood, it's just a terribly critical time for that organization, and it's one that has been part of my family for a very, very long time. My great-great-grandmother worked in the early days of Planned Parenthood here in New York, and her grandmother and my mother, I grew up knowing my mother was a volunteer for Planned Parenthood and was president of one of the Planned Parenthood in Dayton, Ohio. And it just was an organization that I grew up knowing about, knowing how important the services they provide are. And I hate that organization has been so politicized, and Planned Parenthood does many, many things for many millions of people. And I think it's really, the timing is, it's a great time to do. If you're going to do something like this, this is the time to do it, because in this administration, a lot of things that a lot of people care about are going by the wayside. No one, not being supported. And I'm proud of us for doing this. I'm really proud of all the writers, and Anna and me and the whole cast. We all said, absolutely, what a great idea. So I hope it doesn't mean we'll be out of the running, but I think it's a great, it's not an anti-Emmy thing. It's just for our show, especially, Chris, because of all the issues we deal with on our show. We're a show with so many women, and I mean, Planned Parenthood helps men too, but a lot of women's issues our show deals with, and it made sense for Mom to donate to Planned Parenthood. It just makes a lot of sense.
Well, your campaign's good with us. This is always free anyway on the interview. So
yeah.
Well, we're very proud of you as much as you are of your team and all the great things that are going on. And good luck again this year.
Chris, thank you very much.